told you filter data extensions can't be refreshed manually. You have that tendency to automate its refresh using Automation Studio. So now in Automation Studio, you have filter activity. This filter activity is very important activity, will be asked in your interview. Explain the entire process, how you will automate the process of filtering a data extension, how to automate data filters, or these kind of questions you will get. So filter activity pulls the data from source data extension. It will pull only that data which satisfies a particular criteria and put into a target data extension, which is a filter data extension. But this activity will help you automate the process of filtering the data at certain intervals. The intervals depends on the property of scheduled automation. So if you use filter activity, we will remove this step. This is a filter activity. Here you define the configuration and you set the automation that from tomorrow, every day 12 a.m. Every day 12 a.m. Every day 12 a.m. daily, never end. If you send this, then the automation will run daily 12 a.m. This filter activity will run and will refresh your data extension. Earlier, we had to manually refresh. But there is a condition. The condition is it will only refresh the data extension which is created by Automation Studio. That means the earlier filter data extension you created can't be refreshed automatically. Automation Studio's filter activity will refresh data extension created by itself only. So if I open the data extension which we created earlier, guys, these are the data extensions which we created earlier. So now suppose this B36 customer profile is a data extension and this is a filter button. And we have a filter where we want to pull the people, every day, suppose data is getting stored into this data extension. The data is coming from somewhere and every day it is getting updated. So every day you have to pull people, okay, whose country is, suppose, whose country is India, and store into a filtered data extension. Suppose this filter data extension we created and we defined a filter criteria that whosoever's country is India, that should be filtered out. So now this is the filter data extension which we manually created. This filter data extension, we have to refresh it every time whenever there is an import to this data extension, which is a source data extension. Currently, you see 4 records are there. Tomorrow, more records can come to this data extension. So you have to click on refresh button every time and then you have to get the fresh records. So this process we want to automate. For that, we have seen that Automation Studio provides a filter activity which can automate the process. But filter activity will never automate this data extension. Filter activity will never automate this data extension. Why? Because it can't be automated if it is created without filter, without Automation Studio. That means this we manually created. Only those data extensions can be refreshed which Automation Studio create it by its own. So guys, this filter activity we can't use on existing filter data extensions. The activity will itself create a filter data extension which it will refresh automatically. How it will create that data extension, we are going to see that process. The first process is to define data filters. To define data filters. Under subscribers drop down, again, it is very important thing. We saw a lot of things. We have data filters option. We have data filters option. What is data filter? Data filter is the filter criteria. What is a filter data extension? Filter data extension is the data extension created with a filter criteria. So last time we created a filter data extension whose criteria was country equal to IN. So the data filter would be country equal to IN. Last time we created filter data extension with a filter criteria country equal to IN. So data filter would be country equal to IN. It is the condition you use to create a filter data extension. So now under subscribers drop down, you have data filters option. You save a filter criteria because that criteria automation will use to create a filter data extension automatically, and it will refresh that data extension as well. So we click on this data extension, click on OK, and you select a source data extension on which you have to create a filter criteria. Source data extension is present in our folder. Okay, guys, your folder is not visible here. So we will select any previous batch data extension. So suppose this is the subscriber profile, B34 subscriber profile data extension on which we have to build a filter criteria. So we will select that data extension, click on OK. Once we select that data extension and click on OK, here are the fields of data extension on which you can build the filter criteria, which is country equal to IN. And we click on save option. And we write here B36 auto filter. So now guys, what we have done, we have just created a filter criteria and did not create a filtered data extension. This filter criteria we are going to save. This filter criteria we are going to save. Now, as we have saved a filter criteria, what we will do, we will go back to Automation Studio. And in Automation Studio, we will configure that filter criteria. Drag and drop filter activity from left-hand side. This is the filter activity. You drag and drop and you click on choose option. Create new filter activity. Write here name of the filter activity. Below you see data filters available. So you search here your data filter which you created. This is the data filter which we just created. This data filter under subscribers drop down. We have data filters option. We created this data filter on this data extension. We saved the filter criteria country equal to IN. That filter we will choose. Once we choose that filter, we click on next. Automation Studio is asking to provide the name of the resulting data extension you want to create. It is asking you to name a resulting data extension you want to create. This resulting data extension, whatever you keep name XYZ or whatever, is the actual filtered data extension which will be created by automation. Is the actual filtered data extension which will be created by automation. And that filtered data extension has a tendency to refresh itself automatically. Saying that we have created a data filter where we have saved a filter criteria. That data filter we chose inside a filter activity. This was a filter activity where we chose the data filter which we have created. And if we go to next place, click on next, we have name, external key and description. All these three things are asked, where name is a mandatory option. It is asking to give all these for the resulting data extension. That means automation is going to create that data extension for you, which it will refresh whenever the automation runs. So name can be B36 auto filter data extension. Once we define B36 auto filter data extension name, you can leave external key, you can leave description, or you can write it created via Automation Studio. External key you can leave, it will auto generate, and you go and click on next and you click on finish option. Once you click on finish option and you click on save button, you have this activate. The activate button would be clickable and you have activated this automation. Now what this process will do? This process will create a filter data extension which it has already created, and it will run every day at 12 AM and refresh that. The data extension which this automation created, for which we had descriptions and everything, can be found in the same folder where is your source data extension. We took source data extension of batch 34. We took source data extension of batch 34. So you will see that B36 auto filter data extension is also present in that data extension. You click this data extension. Once you click this data extension, you see the name which you have defined here in the Automation Studio is present. The name which you have defined here is present. External key auto generated External key you don't have to touch, it is system generated value. And description was created via Automation Studio. You see created via Automation Studio option, description available here. Now this data extension is also a filtered data extension. This data extension is also a filtered data extension only. You see type filtered, but it is separate from one which we manually created, because this is created via Automation Studio and it will refresh every day whatever schedule you have defined for automation. Click on run once option if you want to do it now. Select the activity which you want to run and click on run option and click on run now. Once you click that, you see that the filtered activity already started and it got complete. Once it is complete, you have to open that filtered data extension and see that all the filtered records came into this data extension. So next time, suppose midnight today or early morning tomorrow, there is some addition to the source data extension on which we have applied country is equal to India filter. If there is addition, then you don't have to refresh it manually, because tomorrow the automation will run anyhow at 12 a.m. If you want to run this automation more frequently, like daily you want to run 5 times or 6 times, or daily you want to run 12 times, every hour it should run. Then you can do it hourly, every hour it should run. Okay, you can set that property here. So this automation will start from tomorrow. Every day 12 a.m. every hour it will run and refresh the data. You have that property to set every hour. So every hour if there is an addition to that data, you will have that data refreshed by this Automation Studio. Now, sometimes you are required that every day you get fresh data or every hour you get fresh data. Okay, every hour you get fresh data to which you have to send them the email. Every hour you might get data into source data extension you have filtered. To this data extension you have to send email. So in next step, you can automate the process just using an email send activity where you can configure email to that data extension. Where you can configure that email to that data extension. So what will happen? First, data extension will be refreshed and then email will be sent. You already know how to configure an email activity. But the fresh data will come to this data extension and then it will be included into email send activity. So this is how you create a basic automation. Not only email, you can send SMS push notification to fresh data. This kind of use case can be, better used if you want to check anniversary, birthday, or any other kind of data about a customer based on date. Because you have filters. You have date filters, like today you want to fetch the data, tomorrow you want to fetch the data, that you can easily apply and you can use this mechanism to freshly refresh that data and then send them congratulations, birthday, or all these emails. So now guys, we have seen automated filtration of data. We have seen automated filtration of data. But one problem is only single source is there. Only single source is there. Suppose our management wants to pull data. Suppose our management wants that Harshit, you are SFMC consultant. Can you help me with this data? go and find how many people purchased bag from country US and Japan. Okay, how many people purchased bag from country US and Japan? Provide me their subscriber keys, their country, their product purchased, and which brand they purchased. So this is a problem statement your management has asked to go and find how many people purchased bag from US and Japan. You need to provide their subscriber keys. You need to provide which country those people belong, whether they belong to US or Japan, which product they purchased, and what was the product brand. Now you open your data extension. These data are already available in the data extension you created. These data are already created in the data extension, B36 data extension. You have customer profile. In this customer profile data extension, you can have subscriber keys from customer profile data extension. You can have subscriber key. You can have their country as well. So subscriber keys and countries can be found from customer profile data extension. But you also require product and brand. Those are not the part of, this data extension. Those are part of any other data extension. The other data extension is transactions. Which subscriber key purchased which product? That data is available in transactions. That what subscriber key purchased which product? That data is available in transaction. So from transactions, you can get product purchased. From transactions, you can get product purchased. But what about brand? Brand is not available. This is the transaction data where product ID, subscriber key, bill quantity, and transaction date is available. Then we have a third data extension which is called B36 products. In B36 products, we have our product catalog where we have product name and brand. We can understand that, okay, bag was purchased. It was of brand Zara. Because in our problem statement, our management has asked to give us this consolidated data, or you can say this segmented data. But that data is not present in single source. It is present in 3 different sources. Source 1 is customer profile. Source 2 is transactions. And in source 3, you have products where you have brand. So from 3 different sources, you have to get the data. And filtered data extension works on a single source. Here you require segmentation capability of Automation Studio, which is known as SQL activity. SQL query activity is the activity which will help us query data multiple sources, multiple tables you can query.